My name is Darren Joseph from HJ.Tax. We're the team that seeks to demystify the sometimes confusing world of cross-border taxation for private clients. And today we have the honor and the privilege of having a conversation with the one, the only Leonardo Marquez dos Santos. Leonardo, please, could you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much for having me, Darren. I'm a tax lawyer based in Portugal, partner of Miranda and Associates, also tax law and international tax law professor here at Portuguese Catholic University. That's it.
Wonderful. Asset protection. Obviously, I mean, my sense is that Portugal, and you guide me if I'm wrong, Portugal is not as litigious a society as, let's say, the US. So, asset protection is a huge part of the whole financial planning process in the US, but perhaps less so in Portugal. But to the extent that it is something to consider, what the typical asset protection tools that would be available? I would imagine it's similar to what we discussed previously on estate planning. What are your comments?
So I would say it depends on if you're Portuguese, born, raised, and lived your entire life here, or if you're non-residents. Because what I see is non-residents already have their structures in place. So it's just a matter of see if those would apply here and what would be the ramifications. So, for instance, I see a lot of Brits with trusts. Trust is something that we do not acknowledge as a legal entity in Portugal because we are a civil law country. So you have to sometimes look at these plannings and see how would they be perceived from a Portuguese tax authority's goggles, Trusts, use of tax havens is also is becoming less and less acceptable from a European or OECD standpoint. So you have to tread lightly, even though, in all honesty, I think there is some prejudice on tax havens, even though in a lot of countries there is a huge tradition on using tax havens. Some of the cases, as you were saying, it's not at all tax related. It's more related with the asset protection. It's a structure that is in place since Middle Ages, right? So it's not to evade taxes, but we have to see how it works from a Portuguese standpoint. Structures are different. It pretty much depends on the level of wealth that you have. I see lots of companies sometimes used for asset protection. And if you have wealthy families, there is a common branch which is held by each of the families the sub branches of the family. Then you have companies, use more companies than trusts. There are rules on the distributions of profits from the operational part of the business to the holding, to the sub-holdings until, let's say, the grandsons and grandsons with different rules. But I think we use more companies for those purposes. A lot of real estate. There's a tradition in Portugal to use real estate to invest because it's something that won't be lost. But for data protection, also obviously we use other jurisdictions if necessary. But more around the legal. So let's say the structure more around companies than around other. Can I say figures? Other structures that I see in US, UK, Canada, even Brazil. Brazil also, there's a tradition to use offshores, tradition to have sometimes trusts. It pretty much depends on the jurisdiction. But what I'm seeing more and more is people move to Portugal, foreigners, especially with the estate planning already structured. So it's just a matter, what I recommend is prior to your relocation to Portugal, we have to test that and see whether it fits or not. Because trusts, offshores is something that we need to tread lightly and may not work to Portugal, so we need to see if something has to be changed to work.
Absolutely, yeah. What struck me about Portugal is that it perhaps has the longest list of blacklisted jurisdictions of any country I've ever seen. Basically, it's everywhere in the world. You know, every island,
Yeah.
every island. But you throw in your Panama, you throw in the United Arab Emirates. It's just, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is.
What strikes me as odd in that list is that there are some countries with which we have tax treaties. So it's a tax havens blacklisted, but we do have tax treaties with them.
Yeah.
And we have exchange of information clauses. I don't know if they really. I don't know if they exchange information or not, but we do have tax treaties. And when we have so if I have to choose, it's onshore. But then if it is offshore and blacklisted, I would definitely choose the one that has a tax treaty because, for instance, for NHR purposes, well, there is a tax treaty, so I think rules will be slightly different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.